Check, check. We are live. I wonder if this one will. I upgraded my what's it called? The live stream account to the pro.
Yep.
Oh, did it not save on Instagram? And I'm trying to connect 8 different accounts.
So
Oh
wow.
Well, that's what I've been
probably
doing.
why I can't stream to mine. You got all the accounts.
Oops.
And that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing, Jake and them say, the most amount of people is better. So technically, like all social medias that you have would be great. So hopefully it does good. I don't think I did connect Instagram correctly. Oh well.
Yeah, and that's what I was on TEDx's lounge the other day, or yesterday, I should say, and we had a ton of people streaming it, and we had like almost 450 people in there or something like that. And Ted was pumped. He was like, "This is the biggest crowd I've ever had." So I'm like, "Well, it's everybody streaming to their channels. I mean, it works."
Yeah, that's true, man. It does a lot of work, especially like there's always a group of people. Well, I know there's always more than one group of people where they just stick with one specific social media, like only X and only YouTube. So it's understandable about why they want to do that. So we got to target them audiences. Let's see. Come on through. It's been crazy past few, like, what, 2 months now for me since we found out. But we're getting it. We're pulling it through. There we go. Some people are already starting to show up. What's up, man? Spoon. Great seeing you here. Jeremy's here. Jasava. Hopefully I pronounced your username right. Go Flare. Oh yeah, we're gonna be talking a lot about Flare, man. You're gonna be letting us know the good sauce.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I got something pretty special in my opinion. I think I kind of tweaked what I needed to tweak, and it should be a beast, man. I really think I really am pumped about it.
When is the estimated launch?
We're hoping to go to our first audit anytime soon. Now we're still doing a little testing and whatnot, but hopefully end of the year, early 2025. I think if I had my perfect kind of wish list, it'd be before 2025. I think just releasing in 2024 would be so cool.
Right.
But overall, it's, internet stuff, internet money, and you can't fix it once you release it. So we'll rather take our time and make sure it's all good.
Yeah, man, that's really important. Like just taking your time to do all that stuff, making sure the code is right, making sure it works, and no hidden little bad code in case something happens. Because at the end of the day, this is Titanx. We got to take care of it.
Yeah, and I don't want anything hindering kind of what we're doing because no shade at Lotus or anything, but that was one of the biggest vulnerabilities that we've had as a community. And I think, how he kind of approached that and did with Eden and stuff, I think it balanced it out. But, obviously we never want to see that kind of stuff happen. And it's just sometimes the code is, you don't see it. I don't know how, but the testing and stuff, it just, people are smart and they'll figure out a way to, attack anything they can, to be honest.
Yep. And then knowing social media, of course, any little tiny thing that does happen, they freak out, and all the trolls and fudders, haters, they creep out, man.
Yeah. And sometimes, we've seen it. They got a loud voice, and, it creeps a little bit of doubt in your own brain listening to it, and you're like, is this really kind of what's going on, or are they just kind of freaking out, and then you got to do your own research and stuff like that. So, yeah, Titanx has no shade of FUD. It is always going to be there, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially right now, because it looks so good. Is the white paper already connected? I think you were streaming with Mo, right? Or who was it?
Yeah. So Mo, it's on Titanx Hub. So there you go. Boom.
You don't have dark mode on here?
Yeah, that's one of the things I was telling them. I'm like, this is only dark mode. I was like, I don't know why it's white at all. Like, I want it to be only dark mode, but yeah. Either way, all good.
It's all good. Yeah. You want to start it off, see what you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I mean, this is a perfect place to start. Flare is, in my opinion, a very hyperdeflationary token. I know a lot of people say that, and over time, I think a lot of projects will become crazy hyperdeflationary. But we have 11 weeks of minting. So Inferno style, Alien X style, Awesome X style minting. Fridays, you come in, mint, claim on Saturdays. And then throughout the week, it will be daily auctions as well. So day one, mint, day two, the auctions
Oh.
start coming. And then once that next Friday comes back around, there's no auction, only minting, and then back to the auction. So it's letting the minting breathe, letting the auctions go crazy. And I just really wanted to create something that people didn't feel the need to get in day one exactly and not know what they are going to get back. So the Inferno style minting, in my opinion, is a great way to do it because you're going to know exactly what you're getting 1-to-1, 1-to-0.95, whatever the case is. It's very upfront and know exactly kind of what it's going to be doing. So yeah, so that's basically the gist of what it is, and there's a lot of other stuff under the hood. But the biggest thing I could say is the auto 20 x28 minting is huge. I think a lot of people are going to be doing that in the future, and overall I'm really trying to be top 7 on the Titanx burn leaderboard. In my opinion, that's the goal of one of the goals of Flare. What I want to see it do.
That's neat, man. I like that little curveball of instead of doing only weekly, you're adding a little additional activity for the community. That's actually really smart. That's a plus right there for me.
Appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, no shade on how the auction style distribution that we've seen through Volt, Shogun, this and that, right? The one thing I will say, my only, not grievance, but whatever you want to call it, is I don't know what I'm going to get by the time that day ends, right? We could see a crazy influx. We could see no people coming in. I have no idea. So one thing I wanted to do was really allow the user to know exactly what they're getting, full transparency. You could put it in the morning and Saturday, that's how many you're going to get. So I think having a slower paced minting style and a more upfront minting style for Flare really, really makes sense and allows the user to really have full trust in what's going on.
Sweet, man. Heck yeah. Good job. How long did it take you to did you just randomly come up with that idea? You're just like, yo, this would be a good idea to do.
Yeah. So what happened was I was initially, this was a little bit early on. So this is week number 3 or something of Inferno. I was going to do Inferno 2.0 on Inferno. So only having Inferno input, do Inferno basically on top of Inferno. So it was like Inception on Inception, whatever. But
And Inferno would have actually went higher if you would have done that too.
yep.
Because on week 3, it was just barely takeoff.
Yeah. So it was,
Ooh.
that's what I was originally going to do.
Yeah.
And then just with my finances, with my house selling, this and that, it
Mhm.
just didn't make sense. And then, I saw kind of how Inferno played out. I saw Volt come out and, E280 came out. And I'm just, every time a new project came out, I'm like, how can I use this for something I want to do? And the goal wasn't necessarily to build something as much as it was to kind of create an idea of what I would build. And then it became so apparent. I'm like, oh, I kind of got to do this. But that happened. Fast forward a couple months, whatever the case may be. It's like 2:00 in the morning. I'm at my girlfriend's place and I'm just in the kitchen, just with a pencil and paper, just going at it, trying to just figure it out. Well, once you get the bug, I can't
I
go to
know.
sleep until it's done,
Yep.
So I kind of just started thinking like, I love the daily auctions. I loved Inferno. I was like, why can't we do both at the same exact time? And then just allowing the price to be inflated every Friday and then pretty much is a cap supply every week. It's going to be inflated and then it's going to deflate the entire week. And then it's
Yeah.
going to inflate again and it's going to deflate the entire week. So I just liked how it was kind of like a wave, a pulse, whatever you want to call it, of minting and then burning, minting and then burning. And yeah, I just think that's a really cool kind of in between. At the time, I was saying this is a conglomerate of all different projects, and then Shogun came out, and I'm like, well, now it's kind of like Shogun mixed with Inferno, right? It's, you know, it's doing all the stuff I'm doing, but at the very, very last second, I mean, we were right about to go to audits. I was like, hey, we got to do something with X28, and then came up with the idea of auto minting X28 through the minting and daily auctions. So
Heck yeah.
it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I like that, man. Always staying on top of the game too, staying up to date with everything.
Yep. I just didn't, you know, I had the idea initially of just doing it, and I think it would have been fine just doing how it was going to do. But that little last second change added some time, added some money. I was like, this needs to happen. I'm like, I need to do this for the whole ecosystem and for Flare. But yep.
I got you. Okay, so the Flare tokens are minted each week, 24-hour period. You'll be able to claim Saturday, you said.
Yep.
See, what I like about this is that you set it as 2 p.m. UTC. That is a really good time frame for majority of the people out there. Like that is one little thing that does irritate me a little bit. Like if you want the most participants, like why do it, 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever, whenever half of them are asleep or something.
Yep. Yeah. So this is like what, 9 Eastern or something like that. So 9 or 10 or something like
10,
that. So
yeah, it's 4-hour difference.
Yeah. So we're all up by then. So
Yep.
and you hit part of the China markets as well. You hit all the European markets. So that was definitely, I want to do something like that, and definitely middle of the day for most people, I guess you could say.
Yeah, like whenever you're on, especially like a great example is Twitter, or I'm sorry, X. Whenever you're sending out tweets and being active, the most retweets and activity you're going to be seeing is through that little time range around the midday, because that's whenever everybody's up, or at least the majority of the world is.
Yeah. So when I was doing my daily videos originally, what would happen is I would release them 6, 5 Eastern time at night, and they would do okay. But then right when that early morning, mid-afternoon, the next day come, it was like I got a boost of views, and I definitely noticed that. So what you're saying is 100% correct.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's the one downside about me. Like the only time I'm able to upload and edit and have time to get my YouTube videos out is around that 8, 9 o'clock at night. So yeah, it's like slows down, but then whenever I wake up is like 2, 3, 4 times more views, just because everybody's already gotten the alert, already gone through, the algorithm kicked in more. So yeah, that's the only bad part about my schedule, uploading wise, 8 p.m., 9 p.m. at night. And then the one thing I try to not do is, unless I'm going out for vacation or something, I kind of have to, but create a video like today, right now, and then have it ready to be uploaded tomorrow or 2, 3 days from now. Because you may never know what could happen. The price could be 5 times more, 5 times less. And then once you click that upload video, there's already going to be people commenting down below like, yo, the price is not this. What's going on?
Right. Like,
you're out of date, so on and so forth. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I need to start making more YouTube videos. I've been streaming a crazy amount, but I need to get in the grind again.
And I'm on the opposite side. I've been doing
videos, man.
And not much streaming.
You've been putting a video or 2 out like every day for a minute now.
Yep. I try my best to stay consistent one day. And then if I manage to do enough time and have it organized, I try to do 2 videos.
Yep. Yeah. I've been watching for a minute. Trust me. Since I was making videos, I've been watching. So I'm not really much of a commenter or anything. I kind of just, put it on while I'm driving, listen to it while I'm just chilling. My girlfriend's always like, put your headphones on. Like, I don't need to listen to that,
Yeah. My wife be doing the same exact thing.
She's like, does it need to be volume 10 right next to me? Like,
I can relate so hard to that. So
Yeah.
I hear you say girlfriend. Any plans to getting married? You don't gotta answer it.
Definitely. Yeah. So, kind of what's happening is, February will be 4 years, but we've never lived with each other. So we've been crazy different
Oh,
times, right? About an hour away from each other for a long time, making
yeah.
it work. Weekends, maybe sneak up there during the week, whatever the case may be. So January time, we'll be moving in together. If everything goes well, then yeah, which I don't see it going bad for anything. She's so amazing. So it's like, I just need to live with her for a while and get that side of her before I do anything. But yeah, so she's awesome, crazy smart.
I got you. Well, yeah, man. Congratulations. I wish you guys both the very much best. But like I've been married for 4 years now, and let me tell you, man, there's gonna be big bumps on the road,
Hmm.
massive ones. But always just stick together and help each other out, communicate. That's my flaw, communication. Like, I do so good communicating on YouTube and all that, but whenever it comes to like my wife and all that, I'm just like, I kind of don't want to talk about this.
I think that's a men culture in general. We're like,
Yes.
yeah, it'll work itself out. Like,
Yep.
I don't need to worry about it.
And I'm always the type. I've always been like this too. I mean, it's like, it'll work out.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm pretty sure we'll manage to figure something out. Like whenever we were getting the house, she was getting all the paperwork. She was getting everything, and I was providing pretty much the funds to be able to put the deposit and get everything settled in and everything. And she was over there freaking out, and she was like, "Oh my god, the deadline is this day. I don't know what I'm gonna do." And I was always like, it'll play out. No worries. And then like either a few hours before it was due, something would happen. It would be on our favor, and it would be good, and it would go through. And she's like, "Man, I don't know how I can be, how you can do this, because I'm just stressing like crazy, and you're just there chilling." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. I've always been like that."
Yeah. Yeah. You know, uh, with work and what I do and flipping and, running businesses and stuff like that, my girlfriend is like, how are you so chill? Like you just come home and you're chilling. You don't stress about anything. And it's like, no, I stress about stuff, but I just don't
Yeah.
let it get to me. I would be crazy psychotic if I let it get to
Mhm.
me. I mean, there's so much stress and things I'm thinking about. I'm like, when I come home, you're there. I'm like, this is great. I'm relaxed at that point. I don't feel the need to be stressed when I get home. I leave it all in the field. I don't need to bring that home with me.
Exactly. Plus, I'm the type of person where whenever do feel stressed out or something, I work better under stress.
Yep.
And that's whenever my mind is like going 1,000 miles an hour, and I'm here like I need to organize this, do this here at this time, and have it all done at a certain time period too.
Yeah, absolutely. I much rather work in stressful environments. It's weird to say, but I
Mhm.
really do, just like you, get a lot done. And you know, back against the wall. I was always like a last minute assignment guy in college and high school and this and that. But geez, did I write better? Did I do better work? Did I study harder right before it was about to happen? Like,
Right?
yeah,
I feel you on that one.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So, Flare, right? So the minting, we wanted to be, we had this originally at the 0.05 dropping every week. But one thing I was thinking about is give every single person, no matter what week you're in here, an actual fair shot of really getting a bunch of tokens. So hopefully with these ratios, it will allow the ROI by the time minting comes back to look really good, but also your week 11, you just found out about Flare, you haven't even looked at it, and you'll still be able to get a 1 to 0.8 ratio. So I kind of want to just be a little bit slower. And we haven't really seen anybody do it like this. Obviously, Godex has got something similar to this style of, 0.02 drop, but I just wanted it to be a little bit slower and not be as fast paced as other projects.
okay. I kind of do like that. It's not bad. 0.02 at a time. That way, whenever, week 12 or I'm sorry, week 11 comes along, it's not like a 10-to-1 ratio or something
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah. So hopefully, by the time week 11 comes around, you're like, I could still get zero 0.8 for every one. I think that's pretty
Mhm.
solid. And originally it was going to be dropping 0.05. So by that time it was going to be 1 to 0.5 ratio. So it was going to be, you get half back with whatever you put in. So,
Heck
yep.
yeah.
So the minting and auction allocation. 44% of all the Titanx, and this is on mint days and auction days, will auto mint x28 and be put into obviously like a buy and burn, and it's going to buy solely from the x28 flare pair. And then 32% of the Titanx will auto mint x28 as well and be put into the daily auction pool. And the really cool thing about that is, say $1 million comes in, 320 grand is going to be spent that next day over 180 calls buying flare and putting it into the auction pool. So it's programmed every single day, no matter what comes in, to be bought that very next day.
Okay, so there's no minimum. Okay.
Yep.
Sweet. 8% of the Titanx directly sent to the Inferno buy and burn. Yeah, that Inferno is going to benefit a lot from this too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think obviously x28 and flare is our main pair. Inferno flare will honestly be our second biggest pair, in all honesty. And then after that, it's going to be all deflationary tokens is going to be used for our liquidity web. So we're going to go as deflationary as we possibly can with the pairs we have. And all of these pairs are going to be auto compounding into each other. So it's going to be growing forever and always. So, and we're constantly going to be adding more and more liquidity between all these pairs.
Yeah, because remember, everybody's panicking about liquidity and not having enough. And
Yep.
yeah, you know, that little, the FUD little circle that we went through because of liquidity.
Yeah. And, you know, Jake literally said, "Hey, we are more liquid than Bitcoin." Like, period.
Yeah.
So, like, I thought the whole FUD was gonna be gone after that. In all honesty,
Honestly, I didn't even bother looking at the liquidity. I didn't really touch that subject on my channel or anything, mainly because like we have so much ETH scattered around everywhere, and the buy and burn V1, and at that time V2 was still going around. So like I wasn't really big into the liquidity issue, but then all of a sudden it just came like in a whole wave. All of a sudden everybody was talking about it, and it became quote unquote an issue.
right? Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right? Like, liquidity is the biggest problem in crypto. Period. That's the only problem, in my opinion, that crypto has. And I mean, we have, like, some projects have almost as much liquidity as market cap in our ecosystem. So I'm like, we have projects that have a ton of liquidity for their market cap, and it's like, yeah, we're not going to have $100 million market cap with $100 million in liquidity. I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So people are always going to be complaining about liquidity, even if it's great. There's still going to be people complaining about it, and if their only qualm is liquidity, then we're doing something really right.
Yep. Yeah, no, right. That's actually very true. Good way to point that out.
Yeah, because like, you know, people have to sell, and people are going to be buying forever and always. So it's like liquidity is only there for people who want to sell. It's like people are going to sell forever, but the pairs and how they balance out long term take care of that, right? One side gets heavier, brings the other side back up, and with any amount of price increase, all of the liquidity is going to go up, especially through a bonded ecosystem as Titanx.
Yeah, majority of the time, if somebody is selling, it's to get to something else.
Yep.
Like whether it be Volt, Viper, or Inferno, Flare, it's gonna be selling. They're gonna be going from one project to another.
Exactly. So it's, in my opinion, it was a non-issue that became an issue. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't tripping about it.
Honestly, I didn't mind it just because of how much the price did get impacted from it, just from people panicking. It did drop a good amount because of that. But I honestly give thanks to them because I still got my bag overall grew just because of that.
Oh, dude. I mean, I couldn't be, I was trying not to buy as much as I did on that dip, right? I was like, I need to kind of, you know, regulate it, get a schedule. And I'm like, nah, I'm dumping it. I'm buying it right now. I'm dumping the whole bag into it.
Same here.
Yeah. So, I mean, you just don't see 605, 606 for months. And I'm like, you know, if it ever got back to that, I'm buying. And then here we are, came back to it. I'm like, I got to get it. I'm like, I said it. So yeah. So, I mean, for the liquidity pool for us, our initial pair obviously is going to be x28 and flare. And so the contract will mint matching x28 for the amount of flare, and we're going to have it being V2. So everything's going to be compounded and thicken that liquidity pair. And over time, throughout this 11 weeks of minting, we're going to be constantly adding more and more pairs as we go, and hopefully become super liquid through it all. So pretty straightforward with the liquidity pool creation.
That's nice. Did you generate this from Grok?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, I was just like, what could I put flare on that would look like Miami vibes, Miami Vice, kind of kind of thing.
Clean. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, so the daily auction pool mechanics. So 32% of the x28 created through the auctions and also through minting will be used solely to buy from the x28 flare pair and be put into the auction pool. So just as I was saying before, that 32% is going to be bought that very next day, no matter what, over 180 calls. So if it's not called one time, it will double and go to that next call. But the daily auction pool is going to start off with 1 trillion flare in the auction pool. And this way, because we were math and how it was working was going to be very hard for the pool to fill up through these buys as much as I wanted it to fill. So it was going to have to put a pause. It was going to be day 1 mint, day 2 relax, day 3 the first daily auction. So kind of a way to get around that is to put 1 trillion in the auction pool so that day 2 we can have an amazing, crazy big auction, and just allow it to be healthy throughout the minting period. Because through our diagrams and our things I was running, it was just not going to be able to fill as much as I'd like and be as healthy as I'd like, with 11% being used every single day. So the 1 trillion was the way to get around that. And long term, it really, really helps having that in there.
Yeah, big time. I agree with that part.
Yep.
Distribution 11% of the pool is used daily. 5% of the pool is used daily for auctions.
Yep. So pretty aggressive during mint days, mint phase, and then 5% after forever and always. So definitely still want to be aggressive, but kind of found that middle ground. And 5% seemed nice. I mean, I could have done 3 or 4 or whatever, but 5% still gives you a good amount of value, but also not completely sucking it out. And, it could go days and days without 0 flare going in there with 5%.
Not, you can't use the 4, man. Jake don't like the number 4.
Yeah, that's why I went 5. Yeah, so the buy and burn mechanics are going to be exactly like Inferno. So 4% Sunday to Wednesday, 10% on Thursdays, and 15% Friday and Saturdays. So I loved how aggressive that buy and burn was. And, it's going to be the buy and burn with also the daily auction pool constantly growing as well. So you're going to have both of those going at exactly the same time and constantly either buying it and burning it or buying it and storing it actually in that auction pool. So this is same type of thing as Inferno, but overall just different application, different percentages going into it really.
Right.
Yep.
Dang, man, these artworks are nice. That is so cool.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I just that's kind of the vibe.
Dark mode.
Yep. Yeah, it looked really good dark mode for sure.
No, for real though.
Yeah, the buy and sell tax, we got a 8% buy and sell tax. 3.5% is going to the daily pool. 3.5% is burned forever, and then 1% Genesis. This was very important to add it to the auction pool because that's just very easy. Just send it to the auction pool address. And I wanted to create burning even if there was no money in the buy and burn forever. So that 3.5% is going to be burned forever. And then afterwards, it'll be a 2.8% buy and sell tax. So this is going to be constantly burning the protocol token, but also adding it to the daily auction pool forever and always.
Okay.
Yep.
And since it's a buy and sell tax, you can't be in the Titan farms, right?
No. So this is just V2.
Yeah.
And to make it really work, I was thinking about doing V3, but just the more I put without these taxes, it wouldn't be as powerful as with the taxes. And the cost benefit of being in farms without being in farms didn't really change too much for what
Mm-hmm.
we're doing, especially with our liquidity pairs and stuff like that. Obviously, the more and more liquidity and being in the farms would be sick. But you know, maybe the next project I build or something can be a V3 and help Flare at the same exact time.
That would be nice, huh? A second project. Dang.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm a builder. You know, I do things in the real life, and I've always, I've been in crypto since 2016. I've always wanted to do something forever. Like, I mean, from the jump, but I just didn't know what I could do, what type of audience I would have, this and that, and then it all kind of came to right now, right? And I'm like, damn, great community, instant adoption. I'm burning a crap load of Titanx, and it's going to be something that I really, really look forward to. And hopefully, Flare, how I designed it, is a standalone project that doesn't need anything built onto it. But obviously, the more you build onto it, the better.
Right. Definitely. 100%.
Yep. Yeah. So just
Little
basically a
recap.
little conclusion. But one thing I'll say as well is there's two parts that don't really show through all of these things. Is kind of like the lore. I don't know what you would call it, but basically with every single buy and burn buy of Flare and every single daily auction buy of Flare are all going to be taxed, right? So it's going to be programmed buy pressure, burn pressure, and adding to the daily auction pool through only, right, open market buy and sells, normal people, but also programmed taxes on all of our buys as well. So it's going to be constantly adding, constantly burning our protocol, just regardless if people are selling or buying on the open market, even if they mint or only use the auction. So and then you add the LP web that we're going to have, and those are all getting hit with the taxes, and those are all buying and selling, or buying or burning and adding to the daily auction pool. So this thing has a ton of little mini taxes absolutely everywhere that the user doesn't even know that's really happening, right? It's just constantly in the background, and having this many LPs and taxes going on, it really should burn a crap load of Flare, but also add a crap load to the auction pool.
Right. Yes, definitely. Um, there is that Inferno play that people could also. Everybody's is gonna decide what they want to do. Like if you don't like Flare, okay, that's understandable. That's your money, your funds, your decision. But there's other people that like Inferno, so Inferno could potentially be a good play due to flares coming out and people having to rotate left and right, probably from Inferno, and people speculating that Inferno's going to go crazy thanks to Flare, and the price could rise, and people like to trade. They could get in and scalp it, get in and get out. So there's the option is there. That's what's great about the Titanx ecosystem in general. Flare is great. It sounds freaking amazing. I know I'm going to be putting a good amount on my end as well, and I'm probably going to I have to make a video for this too. But that's just everybody's opinion. 10, 20 bucks, of course, thanks to Ethereum gas fees, maybe you won't be able to do that, but you guys get the drift. Small amounts can go a huge way. We're still in great position, and the price is hovering around my favorite little accumulation area on that channel. So it would be smart, in my opinion, to diversify and have something of Flare in case it ends up doing something phenomenal, which I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I appreciate that big time. I mean, we kind of designed it to be something like that. And, one thing I'll add to that, you bring up Inferno, right? Inferno is going to be more than likely, if not 100%, our second biggest LP. It'll be x28, Flare, and then Inferno Flare. So that's going to be the absolute first LP we make after the launch, and then everything else would come to that after that. So Flare and Inferno are going to be tied together. And without, I didn't want to lose that percent that I'm sending to their buy and burn. So one thing that I could do is still send it to their buy and burn, but have a big liquidity position between the two. And I just kind of wanted to, I love that Inferno doesn't have a Genesis, so I really love the ethos of Inferno and can constantly, it's going to be pinched at a certain point. There's so many protocols coming out on top of it that, there's not enough Inferno supply at all.
Yeah, there really isn't. That's what a lot of people are forgetting about, that supply of Inferno.
Yeah, I'm really excited, man. And I love Shogun, right? I love it. And one thing I wanted to improve upon, right, because this was before Shogun obviously came out, was the auction allocation for the minting of the tokens, if you will, was always a little bit. It's not nefarious, right? It's just like you don't know, right? It's unknown how much you're actually going to get, and the way I'm doing it is fair, in my opinion. The minting ratio, and obviously a lot of people have done it, but having those auctions just right after the mint happens, you're like, dang, like this thing is going to be burning and buying all day long, every single day. And whether it's the R bots in the background or the contract actually buying and storing it, or buying and burning it. So, I don't know, man. This is something it feels very, very aggressive, but slow paced at the exact same time. And that's kind of one thing I really wanted to design with Flare.
Yeah, definitely. And then you also have that group of people where they, I don't want to be rude. How do I word this? Like Titanx is complex, but it in its own way. Like you have to really understand it for you to be like, yeah, I get it. I need some. There's protocols that require Titanx, and x28. So you do have to do research for Titanx. I feel like that's one of the small things that hasn't made us pop yet. But one thing is for sure is that once everybody clicks and be like, oh, I get it now, I understand it now, that's where we will start seeing the massive green candles that Titanx will start forming. A lot of investors, especially newcomers, that barely understand how to connect a wallet, them type of people, they just want to click buy and hold. Then that's really it. And Coinbase does that, crypto.com does that. They provide all the meme coins. You just do that's all you do, just buy, hold, and hopefully it goes up. Maybe it drops, maybe it goes up, but for Titanx in general, like you really have to know where you're going left and right. You got to move funds around, connect, swap. You got to know the liquidity pools. You got to know where, the right way and how to connect things. So yeah, it's a little advanced, and hopefully sooner rather than later, people will start getting the drift and head on over and start creating some good momentum for Titanx, but in due time, for sure.
Yeah. And, we're still at a very baby stage. I mean, obviously a year old is a long time in crypto, right? But Bitcoin's only 15 years old. It's not like it's a 40-year-old, 50-year-old legacy thing. This is a very new 15 years old is super young when it comes to technology, in my opinion. So, Titanx has so much room to grow, and we have only scratched the surface with what we're doing. And the only thing I'll say is we keep, innovating over here and creating new things. And, one thing I didn't say is Flare will take in Titanx and Ethereum. So I wanted it to be a, fresh Ethereum style protocol if it could be, and then Titanx after that. So I wanted it to be like, hey, you don't know anything about Titanx, come in with your Ethereum and you get Flare. And you don't even know that we're taking the Ethereum, buying Titanx off the open market, minting x28, and then using that. So you don't need to know any of that. All you need to know is this takes Ethereum, you can claim it after the next day, basically.
I love that. Yeah, definitely. That was a big, great feature that they started doing too. It helps a lot for Titanx. It helps for the project, more exposure for more people, more investor money coming on through. So I love that feature.
Yeah, I think it's a mandatory thing, in
Mhm.
my opinion, that every single protocol that releases should have it. Obviously, sometimes that doesn't work for other protocols, right? Sometimes they only want X28 or Titanx, right? And that's fine, in my opinion. But having more of an opportunity to get more Ethereum into the system is ob- obviously a big goal of the ecosystem. But Flare, I'm hoping that you know the cool thing is this thing is going to be here forever. So regardless of how many Titanx there are on the open market, you will always be able to use Ethereum to get into the system. I really just wanted to build a forever system that could always take ETH plus Titanx.
Oh yeah. Great stuff, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm just absolutely so excited about Flare. I mean, this is a long time coming, and I love what Shogun has done. And this is like, before Shogun came out, this was going to be really, really revolutionary, in my opinion. And I think it still will be, but it'll be
Yeah.
a little bit slower pace than Shogun is. And being able to kind of have a little bit of room to grow versus like feeling like you need to get in right now, So, no shade at Shogun. They're fucking killing it. They are
Yeah, they're
really, really burning like crazy.
crazy,
The
bro.
liquidity is insane. So it's like, I'm pro Shogun regardless, So
Yeah, Shogun is no joke, man. It's so crazy. I wake up every morning, I'm just like, dang.
yep. Yeah. So I'm trying to be, have Flare be, I was saying top 5, right? And then Shogun came out and I'm like, dang, I'll try to be top 7. I was like,
8.
that thing is a beast. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, stuff like that's what we need though, definitely for sure. And he wasn't kidding whenever he said that Shogun was gonna be big.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
right about that.
Yeah, me and him had some conversations earlier before it released, and you could just see the excitement on his
Like a
face when
little
he's
kid with a
talking
new
about
toy.
it,
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, this is gonna be massive. I'm like, dude, I know. Trust me, I get it. I mean, anything he releases does well. And now it's like he has studied 20 something protocols that have came out, and every single one he's built after that, after Titanx, in my opinion, has only gotten better.
Yep.
So it's just like we are kind of given and taken through certain protocols, having this feature, having that feature. He's doing the exact same thing. And we're all really burning a absolute crazy amount of Titanx through it all. It's mind blowing.
It's good for the overall Titanx ecosystem.
Yep.
It's kind of I saw the stakes amount go from like 15 trillion all the way down to now what is it, like 12 point some trillion right now, I think 13 trillion on the
Yeah.
staking
12
side.
point 12.6.
Okay. Oh, it's actually a lot lower now.
Yeah, that's insane. Every morning I wake up, just like you said, it is mind blowing. 12.6.
Dang, we're gonna be in the single digit trillions in a few days.
Yep. Wow.
Oh heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's going to be really crazy. And I don't know if you've ever been in any type of deflationary protocols before. When buying comes, it goes nuts. And
Mhm.
this is like I've been in some things that like, it 50x's overnight just from a good amount of buy pressure. So it's like this is like a ton of deflating, but it's also buying and burning it. It's not just deflating, right? So it's like there's program buy pressure with program burning left and right. And it's just some type of beast that, we've never seen before.
The perfect machines, man.
Yep. Yep. They don't miss a day of buying. They don't miss a
Yeah.
day at all.
Early 2025 looks freaking amazing, and I'm so hyped about it. Like once these holidays get over with and everything, and because now Christmas is coming up, we've had a lot of family come over, stay over, so we got to take care of them.
Yep.
Renovating, appointment. I've been freaking busy as hell. But once these next few holidays come on through, I know for sure 2028, man, we're gonna be going crazy. Because
Yep.
you also see it from Crypto Kindness and I think Marco too. They're just like, I'm gonna step away for 5 days, I'm gonna step away for 3 days, take
Yep.
a break for the holiday, you know, so on and so forth. I wanted to, but I know how I am. Like if I
Yeah.
step away from my phone for 2 minutes, I'm like, what's the price?
Yep.
Or, you know, what's the amount? What balance are we at? What's
Mhm.
this? What's this doing? I can't. And then especially whenever something happens that's content worthy, I'm like, I have to record this. So
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
cannot go a day without doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very much a creature of habit, and if I don't kind of have a schedule or trying to achieve a
Mhm.
schedule, I'll go 0 dark 30. I am not like no schedule. So I'm either 100% or 0, and I figured out like, streaming is really good for me because it's like, I could do 2, 3, 4 a week and feel like I've made a crap load of content, and it's
Yeah.
effortless, right? You turn it on, you turn it off, and it auto uploads. Making the videos has been a little bit of challenge for me to get back doing because it's like I'm out of the routine. Feels so natural just to talk, The videos
Right.
you got to have a subject, you got to know what you're talking about, you got to know what you're trying to achieve through the video, and it just creates more and more. But obviously, talking about Flare and something I'm building is very, very easy, So
Yeah. No, I would hope so.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, like I've been thinking about this for months now, months, and I'm just too pumped. So I mean, late December, early January, Flare should be out, and the minting weeks are going to be absolutely insane in my opinion, and then everything after that is just icing on the cake, man. I mean, really, it just is. I wanted it to be. I don't really like necessarily taxes on buys and sells, but 2.8% feels like it's not a crazy amount.
Yeah, that ain't nothing.
Exactly. So, I mean, I've been in other protocols that are 10, 15%, and I pay those without even thinking about it. So I'm like,
Mhm.
2.8% forever. I think that's fine.
Exactly right. Yeah, I've
Yep.
seen some that are like 30%.
Yeah. Yeah. That's insane. That's a little too much.
Mhm.
Even though in the real world, like USA, like we're getting taxed just that much.
I
It's
know,
like,
right? That's actually true. God.
we're like, that's too much. And you're like, dude, I'm at like 35% or whatever it is. You're like, I'm getting taxed
Bro,
that much right now.
no, bro, yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that part.
I'm sorry for ruining your day. That's
Yeah, the whole week. You know what? The rest of the year.
done. I'm over it.
Yep. Dang. Every little tiny thing, man, just tax, tax, tax.
Yeah, I mean, you get taxed 9, 10 different ways every day, and you don't
Mhm.
even know it. Especially if you run businesses, you
Oof.
really get a sneak peek into how much they tax you.
Yep.
It's crazy.
You need a really good what's it called? A tax shoot, my mind just went blank. Help me out.
Like an accountant or
Yeah, an accountant.
yeah, like a
Yeah,
tax professional, basically.
definitely. My
Yeah.
mind went freaking blank there. Yeah. 100% because if you don't get somebody good that knows what they're doing, you're gonna be paying a lot,
Yep.
especially
Yeah.
on back taxes.
And if you mess them up, they, as a
Yeah.
person, like as a person entity, they're like, okay, you messed up your taxes, that's fine. We'll work with you, we'll figure it out. As a business, they're like, hey, you knowingly messed this up, and it's like, whoa, I didn't mean to, like,
Yep.
So yeah.
I had one of my buddies actually, he got audited too.
Oh wow.
And he had to pay 5 or 7 years, something like that, 5 years or so of back taxes, and he had to pay 500 grand, bro.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
you. If anybody's running a business in this stream, please, please, please just pay your taxes. They suck
mhm,
and no one wants to pay
yeah,
them, but paying 500 G's
mhm,
isn't fun either. So, I mean,
nope.
once you have the money, pay them. I mean,
And they penalize him, I think, like 23% or something like that,
wow.
23% interest. Which
That's
they're not
crazy.
dumb, yo. They're not gonna do it within 1 year. They're gonna wait
Yep.
multiple years so they can rack up the bag even more. So
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's just like student
they're gonna
loans,
win.
man. They give you 30-year loans, 25-year loans, and it's like first
That's
10 years, you're only paying interest. They don't
that's
even
the
know that.
one thing I'm so glad about that, yo. in 2020, I paid half of my wife's, because you understand this. The medical field, the
Yep.
books are like $1,000 a pop. A pencil can cost you $100. It's kind of crazy how all that is so expensive. And so, yeah, it racks up like crazy from the whole entire education system. And so the student loans are crazy and the interest is insane. So luckily, thanks to crypto, we just paid that off like 2 weeks ago, bro.
Wow.
Completely,
Congrats, man.
100,
That's big. That's
100%.
huge.
We paid half in 2020 whenever the bull run came. And then just literally 2 weeks ago, we paid off the rest completely.
That's so sick, man. Yeah, I mean, that's my future. In all honesty, you know, my girlfriend's going to have a ton of debt and, you know, she's stressing about it. And I'm like, hey, look, you're not by yourself. So just remember that I'm here as well. And you're not solely doing it on your own.
Just tell her to buy Flare. She's good.
Yeah, right. Hey, honey, buy a big bag of Flare. It'll be all right.
Trust.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I had this idea and when I was like taking building like seriously and I'm about to like sign to do it, you know what I mean? Like send the money, let's start doing it. She had a 2-hour conversation with me. She was like, are you okay with like me asking you some questions about it? I'm like, babe, I got only answers. So yeah, please. And so we had a 2-hour conversation. And the last question was, if this all went to zero and you made $0 off it, would you still do it? And I'm like, yeah, because I gave it a shot. And I was like, I'm not the type of guy to just hope and wait. You know, I'm like, look, let's build it. Let's try to attack it. This crypto is an amazing, amazing asset. And if you play it right, your whole life could be set up. And I just, that's one thing I just loved about Titanx, right? It was something I've never seen before. There was so much upside. And I'm like, you know, felt that so much. I felt compelled to build something on top of it and spend my own money to build it. And I'm too pumped about it. And I really do think with Flare, it's got some very unique aspects to it that make it really, really, really aggressive.
Sweet, man. I'm looking forward to it. Best of luck for what's coming up. And of course, as always, if you need help, reach out to me. I'll try my best to help you out as much as I can, whether it be content, advice. If you just need me to just rant or something, I'll listen. Okay. Like it's so good to see a community that is actually united. Like all of us streamers, all of us communicate. We have our own chat. We try to help each other out for streams whenever possible. Of course, life happens, and the community overall is a great and strong community. Like we literally take over Twitter. I don't care what people say. We are taking over Twitter left and right. People that didn't want to talk about us were ignoring us now are finally saying, yo, I've been watching Titanx since, 2-3 months ago. I've been seeing it on Twitter. I've been seeing it on YouTube, so on and so forth. They know about us. It's up to them if they want to cover it or not.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate you you saying that. And obviously I'll reach out and stuff. And this is, I think, only like our first stream together, but I think we're going to do more in the future. Obviously we're probably going to be on some big streams together with multiple people and whatnot. So I appreciate that. And, it's only up from here. It can only get better. There's only more projects coming out. The time aspect of Titanx is its biggest commodity, man. This is a long-term project. This is like, yeah, we want gains and we want big rises and big influx like 2025 and stuff. Right. And all of my videos, when I was doing daily uploads very early on in Titanx, I said 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, right? Because this is a super long-term project with the mining dropping all the way to 800 Titanx per day. And we were starting off with millions and billions, or millions. So I couldn't be more excited about Flare, but also Titanx as a whole. This ecosystem, the community, the product, everything is just A1 in my opinion. And we have some very, very smart and talented people that build, that stream, that do content on Twitter, right? Whatever the case may be, we have a lot of X's and I's dotted, T's crossed, you know, and
Mhm.
it's comfortable being here. It doesn't feel like you need to be fast
Yeah, that's a
paced.
perfect way to put it. It just feels comfortable. It
Yep.
it just feels like we've been together for a long time. Like, especially whenever I do content, I'll sit here, I open my tabs up and everything, and I just go with the flow, and I just feel comfortable talking my mind out.
Yep.
And a lot of streamers and YouTubers and influencers and all that, there's some that do this, some don't, but they try not to talk about like we're going down and this is a rejection zone where we could see the price get rejected here. It's not always going to be up, 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 and green
Yep.
candle, green candle. And that's the one thing that I dedicated myself in, is just being honest and telling everybody, like, if this happens, we will go down. And at first, I was getting a lot of hate and some comments every now, like, "Yo, why'd you upload this? You know, it's
Right.
not going to help Titanx. It's not going to do this and that." I'm like, I know, like, in a way, but it's going to help for the transparency wise, is going to help the community have trust in us, the streamers, and Titanx
Yep.
overall. They will be able to get into a better position if they decide to get into it. So that's just the overall mindset that I've been having since day one.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I love and I from the beginning I've loved your content solely for that reason. It's refreshing to hear someone say, you know, I don't really like how this is looking. This is where we could go if this happens. And so much of the content, right? You know, I fall victim to it as well, is hopium, it's bullishness, it's this could
Mhm.
only go up, right? This and that. But having that very realistic mindset and like this is part of growth, right? We need to go down sometimes, we need to go
Mhm.
up sometimes, and being upfront open, especially you doing TA, right? Like I'm more of a fundamental analysis, long term kind of viewpoint on things. You're breaking it down a little bit more. And so when you do see some things that's like, all right, this could be the result of what it's looking like right now. And sometimes that is bad, right? Life isn't always great. Same thing
Yeah.
with investing. It needs to have those drops and those downs for you to feel the amazingness of a green candle, for you to feel happiness, you know? So it's like we need the trustworthiness and you being so upfront with what you see is I think the a big reason why you have the following that you do, as well as people respect your opinion in Titan X.
Awesome, and thank you so much for that. I'm about to tear up.
Well,
Nah,
you
but
know,
for
it's
real,
been a long time coming, man. You've been making content for a minute, so it's like
it's
it
years,
it's
man. Yeah,
crazy.
so insane how I've been actually keeping up consistency wise too.
Yeah, man.
I
I'm just that's one thing
man,
I'm really like with YouTube videos, streaming in general. Like I said earlier, that's a little bit easier, but consistency making YouTube videos is very hard.
yep. Especially whenever you have the followers already by then. If you miss a day, they're just like, "What the heck is going on?"
Yeah.
You're like, "Yo, are you okay? Are you still alive? Did you disappear?" You know, I do be getting them messages. I kind of find it. I smile whenever I read that because I'm like, if I miss a day, I'm gonna feel bad. Yeah, I already know I have a group of people that look forward to the content,
Yep.
so it just motivation, man. It feels great, you know, coming on through, coming home from where I need to be, need to do, sit down, have a talk on camera, and through the camera, it's crazy how it's hundreds of people, thousands of people that'll be watching it. I
Yeah,
love it.
and you know, I sometimes forget that too. You know, you get so stuck in what you're doing in your life, and you're like, you know, I forget some real person on the other side of the screen is actually going to be watching this content, digesting it. And I was on stream with TEDx and James and stuff yesterday, and they were saying, "Hey, when I was watching your daily uploads early on, this is how it made me feel, and this is why I liked watching it." And then I'm slowly thinking, I'm like, dang, you know, they actually really liked it. And the people that
Mhm.
were commenting negative stuff were actually just being loud, but everybody else really liked it. And
Yep.
you think you have a little bit of regret. You're like, man, I should just kept doing it. I was like, I don't know why I fell out of the routine. Like, you know, I think a lot of people enjoyed it. So
And it's just like going to the gym. Like if you get that routine and you see gains
Yep.
and you want to go more, you want to go back. It's just the same thing as doing content, man. Like you see improvement, you see the channel growing, you get that motivation. And so once you lose the motivation and you stop doing it, it's like that routine just goes away.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm, like I said earlier, I am a creature of habit. And if I'm out of the habit or routine, it's zero. It's not like a little bit here, a little bit there. It's like I'm done.
Just
And
dang.
for the moment, like when I stopped, like it was all right, I accidentally missed one day. And then it was like, all right, I'll do one tomorrow. And then it was like, I accidentally missed 2 days or 3 days. And now it's like a week. And you're like, geez, I don't even upload anymore, And next thing you know, it's a month. And you're like, holy crap.
Dang. Oh yeah, definitely. I get you.
Yeah. So, but overall, I think the streaming aspect and what I've been doing has definitely brought me back to making a little bit of content, and hopefully, I'm just like spreading time between going to my girlfriend's place and staying at my place for the time being before we get a spot. It just adds more complexity to what I'm doing, and being able to be here in my actual little studio versus being on my phone or my laptop is just so different.
I got you. I got you.
Yep.
Well, yeah. We've been in here for exactly an hour. Wow, what are the
Wow.
odds?
That's perfect.
Right? Anything else you got to say so we can go ahead and end it up?
Yeah, man. Flare is hopefully going to be releasing late December, early January. If I had my way, it'd be yesterday. So, but overall, Flare is going to be an absolute beast. It's very, very fair launch. Ethos of Titanx, built on Titanx, take in fresh ETH. It's going to be an absolute animal, in my opinion. But overall, Titanx is an amazing place to be. If you haven't looked at it, haven't checked it out, please check it out. TitanXHub.com has absolutely everything you could ever wish for, stats wise, and it has all the projects that have released and will release in the future. Other than that, I appreciate you having me on, man. This has been a great conversation, and I don't think this is the last time we'll do something.
No problem. Thank you for everything that you do. Continue doing. Again, if you need help, let me know. Guys, be sure to click all the socials for Flare. Follow us both, mainly Flare. If you have any questions, be sure to hit us up on Telegram. Make sure it's the right links. Again, I don't want anybody to get scammed and have their funds taken away. And oh yeah, one thing I have not mentioned. Again, no offense, nothing to you, buddy. I know I can trust you and everything, but I gotta say this, and I want to make sure I point it out again. If you do decide to invest into Flare, please create an extra wallet, a dummy wallet. Put in the funds that you're going to invest into Flare, and that way, you're good to go. You're not putting in your whole entire wallet out there in case anything happens. Okay. Again, no hate, no nothing, no FUD, nothing. Just trying to take that 1-2 extra steps ahead, and that way, in case something happens, some code is wrong, or a bug, some wallet does something, I don't know, anything could happen in crypto. So that way, in case anything happens, you won't lose your whole entire portfolio, just that little amount or big amount, whatever you decide to do, into Flare. Okay, just wanted to point that out there.
Yeah, and no shade at all. I mean, I do that as well, regardless of what I'm going into. So when I'm going into Flare day one, I'm doing the exact same thing. So please take security very, very, very seriously, and get yourself a hardware wallet if you don't have one. So,
yes,
I mean, I couldn't agree more with what you said.
Awesome. Thank you so much for understanding, man. So you guys have a good one. Thank you all for watching here. 175 people. I think we hit like almost 200. So that's amazing. I appreciate everybody. Do your research. Titanx Hub is the main website that you should go to. So take it easy, guys. Later.